All right, good morning, team. We've been asked to create InfoPath forms for other departments, and we'll also need to train other areas on creating their own InfoPath forms for users to access through SharePoint. InfoPath forms aren't really that hard, so we should be able to use the tip sheet to make them. I'm going to email you a list of the forms to create, and you can start creating the forms on your list right away. If you need any help, just use the tip sheet.
You've got mail.
I don't know what I'm doing. This tip sheet isn't really helping. I'm just not proficient.
Security, we have a code P in Tech Lab 1. Kelly, can you hear me?
Huh? What's happening to me?
You were asked to do something that you may not be proficient in. Have you used InfoPath before?
No.
Were you given performance expectations?
No. He just gave me a tip sheet and said do it.
Well, did you have time to practice?
Why are you asking me so many questions? Can't you see I'm not proficient?
Anthony, she passed out. You didn't train her, you didn't discuss performance expectations, and now her brain and morale have bottomed out and we're losing productive time. What were you expecting?
I expected her to become an expert at InfoPath so she could teach others.
And you gave her a tip sheet?
Well, yeah, I figured she would just figure it out from there.
Hello, Dr. Parisia? We need a proficiency consult, stat!
Good morning. I see you've got a proficiency casualty here. Anthony, help me get her on the gurney. Looks like she was hit with a list of job tasks, but not enough training. Looks like somebody just gave her a tip sheet.
Yeah, you got that right.
Is that him?
Yes, Anthony, the tip sheet boy.
Let's take a look at her proficiency vitals. Look at that. Have proficiency targets been defined?
No, I don't think so.
Wait, what is a proficiency target?
Okay. Do we know how much time we have to get her to the needed proficiency level?
Not a lot of time. Her department's productivity is directly tied to her using this software.
You know, we could have trained her properly to positively impact business performance.
But I can't afford to have her go to training for 8 hours.
Well, you can invest in low risk and controlled training scenarios, or you can lose money and time like you are now and increase your liability by having staff figuring it out in production.
But everybody knows that real learning occurs on the job. You can only learn so much in a training environment. People need to apply what they learn in real situations to appreciate what they learn and make the connections in the real world.
Yes, you are absolutely correct. Partially. Real application of learning occurs on the job, and mastery occurs by accumulating real-world experience. However, learning on the job must be structured and include the support needed to continue building proficiency. Also, Kelly must have time to prove her proficiency before working in production. Neural structures for the given task must be formed well enough, or she will begin to guess and possibly underperform.
I guess that makes sense. So how do we make sure she is at the sufficiency we need her to be at?
You mean proficiency?
Yeah.
Let's pull up her chart and look at her proficiency documentation. No prior history of InfoPath proficiency, although she did hear about it, which made her aware of InfoPath, but not proficient to use it. Let's look at the proficiency matrix. Notice the specific job tasks are outlined and proficiency targets are identified. This allows us to provide the right amount of training for each job task. If the performance expectations match the proficiency level, then the employee has proficiency performance balance and should feel confident and perform well. If not, you can expect these smiley faces right here to go away.
Maybe all this is true, but how do we know she just doesn't want to do the work? What if she's just lying there faking it?
Let's take a look at her proficiency vitals. We see job initiative is there at 71, which is still pretty good. It usually drops a lot lower when the person doesn't feel adequately prepared to do the job. It's the proficiency gap causing the problem. 0.5 over 120. 0.5 means she's barely aware of what InfoPath is, but she's expected to be around 120, which is mastery level. Let's look at the proficiency EEG scan. See that green area in the prefrontal cortex? That's where the executive decision-making occurred to do the job. If she didn't want to do the job, there would be more first brain activity back here, which behaviorally would have included complaining. See that white area? That's the problem right there. A big hole where the InfoPath proficiency gap exists. Lucky that tip sheet didn't make her brain pop out of her skull like a piece of popcorn.
What's that big yellow area, Dr. Parisia?
That's the amygdala and the hippocampus. They work together to produce chemically tagged neurons, which are the makeup of long-lasting memories. This is the area of the brain targeted by TV commercials. Training should target these areas the same way. This proficiency-based training model shows how to put it all together. You start out with your task and your proficiencies defined on the left. Then you use brain rules-based learning activities to get learners to the proficiency target while recognizing the progression through memory.
I hear all the brain blah blah blah, but I can't afford to give up a resource for all this extra proficiency training. Why can't she just get into the software and figure it out with the tip sheet?
See what you did?
Everybody, stay calm. We can revive her. Amy, take these proficiency shock paddles and stand by. CBT, we've got her back. We're not out of the woods yet. She's coming through the awareness phase. Video, okay. She's coming through literacy. She can talk about InfoPath a bit. Social learning, she's coming through fluency now. She should be able to perform well. Wiki, blog, ILT.
Okay, I get it. Stop shocking me. I'll do your wiki, your blog, and your ILT.
Thank you, Dr. Parisia. Looks like she's back online.
Yes, she has been trained sufficiently to perform proficiently and is ready to meet performance expectations.
Hey Kelly, how's it going with InfoPath?
Great. After that proficiency-based training, I'm getting the task done as expected in order to meet the business needs of the department, and it feels so good.
So you really feel that proficiency-based training made a difference?
Absolutely. I know which tasks I'm responsible for and the different task performance levels I'm expected to achieve. That's so much better than worrying about my performance on tasks that are not critical or not having enough proficiency for tasks that are critical. And by the way, tip sheet boy, I have to tell you, the InfoPath training community is great for ongoing discussions, and I love being able to take quick videos of new things I learn and post them to SharePoint. Oh look, someone just posted a video about forms with multiple lists. Just what I needed. Wow, someone just tweeted that I'm a great resource for people just getting started with InfoPath, and that my proficiency is truly masterful.
That is so cool.
Moral of the story? Getting staff to the level of proficiency needed to meet business performance needs must be done as fast as possible. This concept is called speed to proficiency. However, speed to proficiency does not mean faster training or less training. Speed to proficiency means strategically getting a learner to a proficiency level instead of just having training events followed by an expectation to perform. This is called leaving performance to chance. Leaving to chance will greatly increase the likelihood of hit or miss performance outcomes. For example, you can train someone with minimal training and then leave it to chance to reach mastery over time, or you can define what mastery looks like, what it takes to get there, and then develop strategic learning that meets that need. This method has been proven to give shorter times to advance talent and gives more control over meeting the business performance goals. With this research-driven fact in mind, technical training employs the proficiency-based training model to navigate towards shorter times to advance talent. In other words, STAT.